Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about spiritual awakening and my story. So if you're watching this video, you're most likely to be going through a spiritual awakening. So I'll tell you about mine, how mine started. So mine started at a time in my life where I was feeling very low, like very numb. And then all of a sudden I started seeing numbers, starting repeating numbers like 111, like I seen it everywhere on my shows, on TV, like on the clock, every time I looked at the time, every time I looked at the microwave, like it just popped up everywhere. And I was kind of scared, but I was excited. I was like, what does this mean? Like, what are these numbers? So I looked them up, and then I learned that they were angel numbers. So then I was doing my research and figured out that I was going through spiritual awakening. And I read an article, and in this article it talked about purging, and then I realized like this is what I was going through. I was purging all old feelings, old habits, old thoughts, and old mentalities. So this was pretty heavy energy for me, and I really went into isolation. I didn't really talk to my friends as much. Like I didn't really feel connected to them because I was going through a lot. Like internally I was making a lot of changes, and I was getting into self-improvement. I was reading self-help books, trying to improve myself. And I was also learning a lot more about spirituality. And since I knew I was going through this spiritual awakening and seeing all these numbers, it wasn't just that. It was also on my YouTube where I would start seeing more spiritual related videos. And of course I would tap them because I was curious. And then I started to learn more and more and more. And a lot more synchronicity happened in my life, started to happen. Like for example, like I would hear a conversation and it would be like exactly what I needed to hear, or something that I was just thinking of the other day, or a random song would pop up on my recommendation and I just tapped it and decided to listen to it, and like a lyric really stood out to me. And let's see, I have notes here because I have a lot of information and sometimes I forget, so I decided to write it down. But yes, let's see. So I was learning a lot more about spirituality, and one of the first things that I learned was the law of attraction. I watched the documentary on YouTube. I didn't get to read the book, but I did watch the documentary. I was looking at videos on YouTube, and what I learned was that you can attract what you want, that you can manifest anything that you want. So basically, the law of attraction is the desire to have something, like the want, and then the emotion for it, and then letting it go and believing that it will come to you and that it will. And I started to learn all about this, and I never tried to manifest anything, but I think like I kind of did, like not intentionally, but we're always manifesting because whatever we put out there comes back. Like if you put out bad vibes or like just bad energy out there, like saying stuff like, oh, I hate myself, or I don't have no money, like my life is bad, like you're unconsciously like manifesting more of that into your life. So then I decided to become more positive, to have a more positive self-image of myself. That's when I started to go on my self-love journey. I started to be nicer to myself, kinder to myself, and just learn to accept myself for who I am. And it was a great journey. I loved it, and I love myself now. And let's see what else that happened. Oh yeah, I learned about raising your vibration, how being in a low vibration, like you attract like energy towards you, like low vibrational people. And this is what like toxic relationships are, toxic friendships and all that stuff. They're all low vibrational. And I learned how to like raise your vibration, which is through gratitude is the easiest way, like to be grateful. And what I did, I started a gratitude journal, and I would wake up every morning and write at least 5 things that I was grateful for, or I would write a whole page. It depends how I felt that day. And I started to feel better. I wasn't looking at the negatives. I was looking at what I could have been grateful for that day. Oh, and affirmations is something else that I learned. Like to use affirmations to program your subconscious mind, because I was learning about the subconscious and how powerful it is, and how you can use it to your advantage, like for success and whatever that you want like to manifest. because the subconscious is very much stronger than our conscious mind. The subconscious is I'm trying to see how I could explain it. Like, it's very powerful and we don't realize what's going on because we're not consciously aware of it, but our subconscious knows. Our subconscious picks up on everything around us. And if you have a negative story playing in your subconscious, like for example, let's say I attract bad relationships, like you just believe that you attract bad relationships, this can really like take a toll on your relationships. You will find yourself in toxic relationships and you'll be asking yourself like, why do I always go through this? And it's because you have a subconscious belief that what you deserve is toxic relationships or things of this nature. So then I learned how to reprogram my subconscious by telling myself affirmations like, I love myself, I am grateful, like I am peaceful. I would repeat these to myself every day, and I would truly like put emotion into them and feel them and just say them. And the way I stopped myself from negative self-talk was by learning how to let's see how to word it, learning how to just watch my thoughts. So whenever I caught myself saying something negative or something that just wasn't good for me or something that I didn't want to attract anymore, I would pause and I would catch myself. And if I said something like, oh, I don't look good today, like I'll replace it with like, I'm pretty, like I'm beautiful, I look great, and I would just do this all the time. Whenever I had a negative thought or something, I would just switch it to something positive. So then it became very easy to catch myself when I was having this negative self-talk, and it really changed my perspective on myself, and it really helped me like catch myself when I was going like in a bad direction. And I also learned about meditation, and I did try to meditate, but at first it was really hard for me because I just couldn't stay focused or stay in one spot. And sometimes I would try to meditate like laying down and I would just fall asleep. So I did listen to some guided meditations, short ones, because I couldn't stay still for so long. So I listened to 10-minute guided meditations, and those really helped. I really liked how I felt when I listened to them. I just had to make more time in my life to like put the time aside to actually meditate and take care of myself that way. And it's really good to like clear your mind. Like if you're stressed out, meditate, and hopefully your problem will like you'll cool down and you'll be able to find a solution to your problem much easier. And I also learned what chakras were. I was starting to learn about that, and I was like so interested to see if mines were balanced or imbalanced. And so I would like take chakra tests, and what I realized was a lot of my chakras were like inactive, imbalanced, or they just weren't in a good state, which now after many like 2 years later, like my chakras are doing great now because I have been working with them. And if you want to know how to work with your chakras, you could do your research on that. What I did, I would listen to chakra music in the background of while I read, because I do love to read spiritual books, so that's what I do. Whenever I'm reading something, I would play the chakra meditation music in the background, and then I help that balance out my chakras. And I also have this chakra tree. It's very pretty, and I have some other crystals, so we'll get into that in a minute. So what I did was I carry this around me so that it can help me balance out my chakras. So these are crystals that represent all the colors of the chakras. So now let's speak about crystals, because crystals is a really big thing for me. I was really into crystals. I got really into crystals, and I wanted to buy so many, which I did. I did buy a lot. And here, I could show you some examples of some of the crystals I have. Let me just take a handful. Here. I have these, like necklaces ones. They look like this. I have a handful of crystals. Let me show you. All in this. I have some other ones, and I also have some in jewelry. So crystals are like a tool that can help you. Like they have their own vibration and they bring healing properties. And I knew about crystals and I knew they had healing properties, but I did not know how to use them when I first started. I just thought they were really pretty, so I would buy them and they would just sit in my room because I did not know how to make them, like how to work with them, how to activate them, how to cleanse them, until I found out recently. So how I cleanse my crystals is with like Palo Santo. You could cleanse it with sage or sound. I have this sound bowl. I would put my crystals in there and play it for a minute, and I just use Palo Santo and let the smoke cleanse them. And to program them, I would first cleanse them, then I'll set my intention. Like for a rose quartz, so like I program this crystal to attract love in my life, self-love, and more compassion, and to harmonize all my relationships. And this is how I would program my crystals. And I would put all the crystals I was working with in a little pouch baggie, and I would keep it in my pocket, in my backpack, wherever I went. I always kept them on me to work with them. Especially this one to work with my chakras. So that was a big thing with my spiritual awakening. Also, tarot cards and tarot card readings, like pick a card readings. I started to see these on my YouTube and I became so interested in them. I'm still interested in them now. I even have tarot cards myself and I'm learning how to read them. It's gonna be a journey, but I'm learning. And let's see what else I've written down, because I'm starting to get all like spreaded everywhere. So I also started to get into numerology, you know, figuring out what my life path number is and all this other stuff. So you could look into that and see what yours is. But I haven't looked into it recently. I just looked into it when I first began because I was just learning so much, you know. And yeah, my spiritual awakening really changed me. It changed the way I view things. Like I couldn't go back to my normal life. Like I am now, like I'm a spiritual person, and before, like I would be scared to talk about my spirituality because I thought people were gonna think I was crazy. Like, what do you mean, like you're seeing all these numbers? What do you mean, like all these things are happening to you? Like that's weird. Like I don't know what you're talking about. So I didn't really tell a lot of people because like they simply didn't understand. So like I'll write about it in my notes or something, and I'll go to YouTube, you know, to find people who are also going through the same thing, which is probably what you're doing here. I'm all over the place, I know, because I'm trying to like bring in a lot of stuff that I did learn through my spiritual awakening or that I did go through. So let's see what else I have here. Okay, synchronicity. I did go see a lot of synchronicity, especially at the beginning, like through the videos that I seen on my YouTube, through conversations that I had with people. Like they would say something that just really like hit me, you know, something that I really needed to hear, and I just knew it was a sign, you know. Numbers and songs are my favorite ways to receive messages. So when I do receive them through songs, like I really enjoy it. Like random songs will show up on my YouTube and I'll listen to them, and my message was in there. Like something just really hit me, and I really loved when that happened. It was really fun for me to get my messages that way. Let's see what else I have written here. Okay, some other things that I started to experience later in my spiritual awakening were like ringing in my ears, and then so of course I like looked that up and read into that, and I learned that it means your angels are around you, and it's a high vibrational being, like a spirit guide, an angel, you know, there to offer their support, or they have a message for you. Let's see what else. Okay, for me, I really believe in angels. I believe in my angels. I believe they're always around me and they're protecting me and my family. One of my main affirmations is my family is protected. Like my family is protected at all times. I say this to myself every day, randomly every day. I never miss a day because I really do love my family and I want them to be protected at all times. I may forget to say other affirmations or not like keep up with other affirmations, but that one I would always keep up with. Never leaves my mind, and I always want to affirm that, you know. And let's see what else I could talk about here. It was a very life-changing for me. I started to see a lot of changes in my life. Like I just didn't vibe with certain people anymore. Like, I knew I needed to let go of some friends. I needed change, you know, I needed a new space. Like, I was becoming a new person. I was transforming from the inside, you know, I was changing. I was adapting new beliefs, you know, making new patterns. Everything, like, I was just reviewing my whole life, seeing what it is that I wanted, what I didn't want. I was finding myself in who I am. And it's one of the best things. No, it's actually the best thing that has ever happened to me. My spiritual awakening really woke me up. It made me want to be a better person. And I think that's all that I have for today. And I will be making more videos on these topics. So stay in tune if you want to hear about those.